It is true that Virginia Giuffre did not accuse Trump of any wrongdoing.
Has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. In this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her.
So what did Tim Burchett decide to do? A sitting Congress representative, Tim Burchett, is on fire tonight. Will you support the releasing of the Epstein files? What he decided to do is expose the Democrats for playing a game of partially reporting on Epstein and partially releasing certain things. So he decided to go to them and release everything. But watch what happens now.
This upcoming bill to release the Epstein files?
Yeah, that's why I just put a bill up. I just tried to move it ahead because what you're seeing right now is what exactly is going to happen, going to continue happening. Everybody's going to pull little piecemeal portions. Sorry about that. I got to animate. I'm sorry about this. They're going to pull portions of it out, and they're going to try to fit their own little narrative. Both sides are going to do it. You all know it. You're all going to feed upon it. Let's just get the dadgum bill out. Let's vote it out. And the Democrats oppose me on it. It's stupid. It's all about politics. It's not about taking care of young ladies who got abused, and we should take care of them. But there's a process in place. The Democrats have had it for 4 years and didn't do a dadgum thing. And you know, if Trump was in that thing, Biden arresting Kamala Harris, I mean, he's the Antichrist to them. They would have already had it out. What you got?
Wow. Look, he tried to get a bill right across because he knows this is all politics. He knows this. He knows this is politics. Listen to Tim Burchett. Before we get to Caroline Leavitt and the entire press room being silenced on this, right, as she explains what has happened, the Democrats are again pulling a very desperate move here to, again, after the government shutdown failed for them, after enough people weren't suffering enough for them, right? Now the government is opening back up. They need something to latch onto. But again, Tim Burchett showing the American people, hey, look, I'm trying to release the files. They don't want to.
Hey, everybody, Tim Burchett just left the House floor, and I tried to do a UC, unanimous consent, of tried to get the Epstein files, get it straight to the floor, just to cut out all this nonsense. And, you know, and the Democrats blocked it, oddly enough. Now, here they've had it for 4 years, and they obviously, if there's something there about Trump, they would have released it. And now they're all, oh, let's get it out, let's get it out. Well, I just made a motion to bring it straight to the dadgum floor, and they blocked it. They blocked it. So this is politics. It has nothing to do with that, what's doing what's right. I mean, it's Washington, D.C. to a T. And again, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, but they're probably not. Thank y'all for sending me here.
Check out this clip right here of this Virginia Giuffre email that Bill Clinton did everything in his power to stop from getting published. Watch this.
New details this morning. Hundreds of new pages have been unsealed in a lawsuit connected to convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The victim alleges that former President Clinton pressured Vanity Fair not to run a story on Epstein. The pages also shed new light on how Epstein's victims were recruited and what happened to them. CNN's Gene Cesaris joins us now. And Gene, we're talking about 900 pages here, so there's a lot to go through. What new details have come out?
Well, they came out last night, combing through them. And, you know, this all stems from a 2015 civil suit brought by Virginia Giuffre against Ghislaine Maxwell. And Virginia Giuffre had wanted her story to come out. She wanted a book. And so she became very close with a reporter out of Britain. And this reporter was encouraging her to go to the Vanity Fair magazine to have them do an article on it. And here is what, in a newly undisclosed email from 2011, here's what Virginia Giuffre says. She says, considering that B. Clinton walked into VF, Vanity Fair, and threatened them not to write sex trafficking articles about his good friend, J.E., Jeffrey Epstein, so she didn't want to do it.
Yep. That's it, folks. That's it. That's the truth of this whole email breakthrough that's, the Democrats are claiming as a huge gotcha moment. These Democrats are so desperate, ladies and gentlemen. They're so desperate to pivot from their shutdown humiliation that they're recycling old Epstein news.
But I will say this, Caroline Leavitt making it very clear to what the Democrats are trying to do. Instead of releasing everything, I just showed you a congressman, Tim Burchett, trying to do the same thing. But listen to what she says.
House Democrats, separate from why you believe the emails were made public, can you address their substance? Did the president ever spend hours at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a victim?
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And so I think it's a question worth asking the Democrat Party, and you should all go ask them after this briefing, of why they chose to redact that name of a victim who has already publicly made statements about her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and is unfortunately no longer with us. Mary.
Thank you. Two questions on this. In the interest of transparency, why not just go ahead, release the full files on Epstein, get this all over with?
This administration has done more with respect to transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein than any administration ever. In fact, this administration, the Department of Justice, has turned over tens of thousands of documents to the American people. We are cooperating and showing support for the House Oversight Committee. That's part of the reason you are seeing these documents that were released today, because of the House Oversight Committee's and Republicans' efforts.
And now, after 42 days of air traffic controllers not getting paid, military personnel not getting paid, essential workers not getting paid, poor, struggling Americans, 42 million of them, without the benefits that they need to survive. We won't get into the kind of, nitty gritty of that. We know there's a lot of corruption with SNAP. But ordinary, everyday, hardworking, law-abiding, tax-paying Americans who are struggling because the Democrats wanted leverage. They wanted leverage over Trump. They now have a new hoax. They now have a new attack. Because instead of doing their job, they're consumed from head to toe with Trump derangement syndrome. This is who we're dealing with, folks. This is the modern day left of Lenin, left of Marx. Forget Marx. Marx is what they've done and how they've corrupted the message of the Communist Manifesto. I could do an entire lesson on this. It's absolutely insane. I'm going to also share with you Trump's response. The White House has responded to this. But first, let's get into these emails. So they just released, supposedly the Democrat Oversight Committee just released these emails. They're from Ghislaine Maxwell, who was interviewed, remember, not that long ago, who was interviewed for saying that Trump had nothing to do with this. Trump was never involved. Trump, was upset with Jeffrey Epstein, kicked him out of his club decades ago for being a creep to his female employees, including the person who's redacted in these emails. The Democrats have had control over the government 12 of the last 16 years, and they've never, ever once, particularly, specifically, the last 4 years before January 20th, 2025, they went after him with pretty much everything they got. They tried to debank him, discredit him, defame him, imprison him, assassinate him. And you mean to tell me you went through all that trouble to stop Trump? And you've been sitting on these Epstein files when you had control of the House, the Senate, the executive branch, and all the intelligence communities with Comey, Wray, and pretty much everything was Democrat 4 years ago. Everything was, which is why our country has gone down the toilet, which is what Trump's trying to save. You mean to tell me you've been sitting on this for why did you wait so long? Why you gotta look at the patterns. You have to exercise critical discernment, critical awareness, or else these guys are going to try to pull the wool over your eyes every single time. They claim they had this huge victory. We had this huge blue tsunami. It was a blue wave. It was a referendum on Trump on Tuesday's big election No. It wasn't a referendum. You have to think through the BS that they keep trying to stuff down the American esophagus. When is enough going to be enough? Here's the new one. Okay, I'm gonna go through this. So here's the first email. It's from Ghislaine Maxwell, who responds to a message, an original message from Jeffrey Epstein, who says, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump, which I have no idea what the hell that means. Somebody tell me what that means, because I have literally I have no clue what that means. And then a redacted name, which I'm going to tell you exactly who that is. It's going to completely be revealed. There's no point in them redacting this whatsoever. And then a redacted name, victim, spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. And then Ghislaine Maxwell responds, I have been thinking about that. April 2nd, 2011, over 15 years ago. And here's another email to Michael Wolff, redacted name, Mar-a-Lago victim. Trump said he asked me to resign. This is Jeffrey Epstein. I was never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls. He asked Ghislaine to stop. And this is where the hypocrites are completely losing their mind. This is where the hypocrites are just going absolutely bat beep crazy all over social media, all over network TV, all over the woke media apparatus, saying, see, we got him. See, he is in the files. See? Another email from Michael Wolff to Epstein. I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you. Or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him generating a debt. Of course, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy and he's gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. That is in response to Epstein's email, who wrote, if I were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? I hear CNN is planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in scrum afterwards. So if you really want to know the truth, okay, this is the absolute truth of these emails. That's it, by the way. That's all I've gotten. Now, you've got some of these Democrats who are saying, oh, we're going to release so much more. Oh, we're going to release so much more of that. Don't you worry. We've got a treasure trove. This is while the country is literally suffering. This is while the country is just trying to get the damn country back together again. This is where when Americans are suffering day and night over this, okay? So first of all, this was a disingenuous release. of these 3 salacious emails, and the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, fired back saying, quote, "The Democrats selectively leaked emails to the liberal media to create a fake narrative to smear President Trump. The unnamed victim referenced in these emails is the late Virginia Giuffre, who reportedly said President Trump was not involved in any wrongdoing whatsoever and, quote, couldn't have been friendlier, end quote, to her in the limited interactions. The fact remains that President Trump kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of his club decades ago for being a creep to his female employees, including Giuffre," Caroline Leavitt added. She continues, quote, "These stories are nothing more than bad faith efforts to distract from President Trump's historic accomplishments, and any American with common sense sees right through this hoax and clear distraction from the government opening back up again." Now,
politics, call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic.
Oh, I just got some breaking news too. Here's a direct response from Trump. So here's a direct response from Trump right here. So Trump has responded saying, you can see this on your screen right now, the Democrats are trying to bring up the Jeffrey Epstein hoax again because they'll do anything at all to deflect on how badly they've done on the shutdown and so many other subjects. Only a very bad or stupid Republican would fall into that traps. The Democrats cost our country $1.5 trillion with their recent antics of viciously closing our country while at the same time putting many at risk, and they should pay a fair price. There should be no deflections to Epstein or anything else, and any Republicans involved should be focused only on opening our country and fixing the massive damage caused by the Democrats. Now, I know what some of you guys might be thinking, and I even mentioned this not that long ago, but I know what some of you guys might be thinking, and this is James Comer and the Oversight Committee, who are also correcting this and saying, why did the Democrats cover up the name when the estate didn't redact it in the redacted documents provided to the committee? This is the same. You guys, do you realize how stupid the Democrats are? Do you realize how sniveling, slimy, pustule-filled, bacteria-embroidered? They are contagions. They are literally walking bipedal diseases in our country, folks. I'm not even overstating this. This is absolute insanity what this is. It's absolutely bonkers. These are the same documents that were given to the Oversight Committee, and they covered up the name because they know for a fact. I'm going to share with you the actual testimony from Virginia Giuffre, who, by the way, was just so conveniently, I have to say this, I know it sounds stupid, but you can't use this kind of language or else they'll take your stream down, unalived. I know you've heard that term before. Some of you guys hate it. I hate it too, but it's the only way to say it so we can continue making common sense go viral. And by the way, if you love America, for the love of God, tap the thumbs up. I'm going to give shout outs at the end. Jim Bear and Laura Tilford, thank you so much. I love you guys. Come on in. If you love America, give me a yeah in the comments down below. If you think this is a bunch of BS, let me know in the comments down below. And by the way, I'm happy to hear any smart, tactful, intelligent, verified, substantiated evidence or concrete proof to prove the contrary? Let me know in the comments down below. We love hearing from you guys. Let me know. I want to hear from you. Dead serious. I'm happy to be proved wrong because this channel is all about the truth. That's what this channel is all about. These were the same comments. You guys, you can't make this stuff up. These were the same comments, same emails and statements that were given to all of the committee. There's nothing groundbreaking about this. The Oversight Committee says themselves, why did the Democrats cover up the name when the estate didn't redact it in the redacted documents that were given to this committee? It's because the victim, Virginia Giuffre, publicly said that she never witnessed wrongdoing by President Trump. Democrats are trying to create a fake narrative to slander President Trump. Shame on them. I have proof, folks. I have absolute proof that this is Virginia Giuffre. So I'm going to share with you the actual transcript. This is the actual transcript from the interview with Virginia Giuffre, which just proves everything that this is all. And here's what I want to say really quickly before I go through this transcript. Here's what I want to say, because I know some of you might be saying, like, why does President Trump keep calling it a hoax? Why is he? First of all, you don't need President Trump to deny or confirm. You don't need anything other than an actual human brain that can see common sense. Literally. Let's look at this practically, please. Before I go through this transcript, let's look at this practically. Forget about what Trump says, hoax. He's too busy trying to fix the damn country, y'all. The guy has brokered what? 12 peace deals in the last 2-3 months. He's traveled, literally spanned the globe, okay? Record-breaking tariffs, reorienting our ethos, our credibility across the entire spectrum on the global stage. Meeting after meeting after meeting with leader, prime minister, fixing, ending conflicts, fixing everything that these damn Democrats, the Biden and Kamala regime, have done to decay our beautiful country. I mean, the guy's busy. Forget about hoax. And I know exactly what he's referring to. He's referring to the hoax that the Democrats keep trying to perpetuate and include him. He's not saying anything about the victims. He knows the victims. It's an atrocious thing what Epstein did. This guy is a known pedo. He knows. That's why he got rid of him. That's why he disavowed him years ago, decades ago. He knows he's a freak and he's never been to the island. But you know who has been to the island multiple times? And you know who tried to cover up a story of releasing Virginia Giuffre's testimony? That's why he's on the thumbnail. Okay. That's why I put him on the thumbnail. Who's that on the thumbnail? Somebody tell me down below. Hold on. Let me move the comments. Who's that on the thumbnail? Who's that on the thumbnail right there? Can anybody tell me in the comments? I'll give you a shout out. The first person who says it, I'll give you a shout out. Who's on the thumbnail there? You want to know who tried to? There he is. Okay. Alex Slavinsky 42069. I see Bill Clinton and Obama were on the emails. Howie, it's good to see you. Howie, says Bill Clinton. Yes. Tom Shuffleton says Bill Clinton. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. Wait till you see what I am going to share with you that should have been all over the media, but it's not. Okay, it should be all over, talked about all over, but it's not. Never mind the hoax. Never mind him calling it a hoax. He's calling what they're doing a hoax. He's not saying that the whole Epstein thing is a hoax. He knows there was absolute evil conducted by this nefarious, sadistic human being. He knows that. He knows there's victims. Okay. 3 things. Let's think about this practically. 3 things. Number 1, the DOJ, Pam Bondi, and Kash Patel said they've released everything that they can. Okay. I know that they botched it and it wasn't a beautifully conducted execution of that conveyance, messaging. It was all garbage. And I think there was even a rift between Bongino perhaps and Pam Bondi, et cetera, et cetera. Number two, Trump has said, I told Pam Bondi, release everything that you can. I don't care. Release everything, because he knows he didn't do anything wrong. And three, which is probably the most important, these guys did everything they could to stop President Trump. In 2024, they did everything they could to end any possibility. For going all the way back to 2023, raiding his house, raiding a former president of the United States of America, which was totally debunked. Jack the Ripper Smith totally faked the whole thing. Those were fake classified documents. It was all one big sham, one big lie. To indicting him, to debanking him, Letitia James, Alvin Do Nothing Bragg, Judge Gargamel, Judge Fake Don Juan Merchan, Fannie Cash Money G. Willis, Kamala, there's been so many cases, Stormy Daniels, you name it. There's been the falsified, they did everything. And then when that didn't work, they tried to assassinate him. And you mean to tell me if you had this card in the bank that you weren't going to use it if you had something on him? That, ladies and gentlemen, is a shortcut to thinking. That, ladies and gentlemen, assumes, like they always do. It's the same thing when the Democrats were saying, well, they have control over the House, and they have control over the Senate, and they have control of the executive branch. It's their shutdown. Thinking we're idiots. The Democrats literally think we're dumb, think we're stupid. They think you're stupid. They think you're an idiot. They know you need 60 votes from the Senate, but they think we're stupid. They know that we know that they've gone after him with everything and the kitchen sink they've thrown at him. And you're going to hold on to this card right here? Are you out of your mind? We're supposed to believe that? Well, they should have released it. You had 12 of the last 16 years. More importantly, the last 4 years. So if you think about that practically, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Americans, how in the world can we take their word for anything? Here's Virginia Guffrey. Jeffrey Epstein's presence with another. Nope. Question. What is I know it's a little bit blurry. Okay. I'm going to read it. What is the basis for your statement that Donald Trump is a good friend of Jeffrey's? Virginia Guffrey answers, Jeffrey told me that Donald Trump is a good friend of his, but you never observed them together. Answer, no, not that I can actually remember. Not off the top of my head. When did Donald Trump flirt with you? Was the question posed to Virginia Guffrey. Answer, he didn't. That's what's inaccurate. Did you ever see Donald Trump at Jeffrey's home? Answer, not that I can remember. How about on his island? Answer, not that I can remember. In New Mexico? Answer, no, not that I can remember. How about in New York? Not that I can remember. This is Virginia Guffrey. They unalived her very recently, claiming it was suicide. She did not commit S. I can't say the word because they're going to take down the video. So this is complete fake narrative by the Democrats. There's nothing here. It's complete bupkis. It's a complete S show. They're not doing their job. They shut down the government. They fight law enforcement officials who are simply carrying out their orders. They do nothing but hate America. They support terrorists. They support jihadists. They support communists. They support men and women's sports. They support men and women's bathrooms. Our daughters, our mothers, our wives, our grandmothers have to deal with this.
This administration also moved, the Department of Justice also moved to unseal grand jury testimony, which we know, unfortunately, a judge declined those requests. So this administration has done more than any. And it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party for now they're talking about it all of a sudden because President Trump is in the Oval Office. But when Joe Biden was sitting in there, the Democrats never brought this up. This wasn't an issue that they cared about because they actually don't care about the victims in these cases. They care about trying to score political points against President Trump, as we have, of course, seen with this government shutdown. And this entire thing, again, it's not a coincidence to the American people at home. There are no coincidences in Washington, D.C. And it is not a coincidence that the Democrats leaked these emails to the fake news this morning ahead of Republicans reopening the government.
Update on my prior video about the Democrats releasing emails trying to implicate Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. You guys got to stay with me on this because the news is moving so fucking fast. Turns out that the emails they released are just rehashes of what was said by Virginia Giuffre, who I will remind you has testified multiple times that President Trump did nothing and that she never even saw him at Epstein's house. See, what the Democrats did was take the exact same wording that Virginia Giuffre had put out, and they redacted her name and redacted certain details to make it seem ominous. And I just have to say, that's fucking disgusting. Like, it really is. Because in its original form, that stuff was never redacted, which means that the only reason they redacted it now was to create a sense that Donald Trump had done something. Because they redacted it. It wasn't the FBI or the Department of Justice or some lawyers. No, they intentionally redacted certain things to create problems, which means the Democrat Party is so desperate and has no evidence of Donald Trump doing anything wrong that they are now modifying prior emails and prior evidence to lie. Guys, let's be real about this. That's beyond fucked up.
When it's time to go, you can choose how. You can wait for enforcement, or you can leave on your terms. The CBP Home app lets you self-deport with dignity, directly and securely. Don't wait. Decide how it ends.
Crying harder. Crying harder. Trump is your president. Crying harder. Crying harder. Trump is your president.
On the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" exclamation point, catch exclamation point.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
And shut down the city! We are at war!
We're in a war right now.
We are at war.
So you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
And that's why the gloves are off.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
And yes, there are many threats to democracy. We see it with these extreme candidates.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
But you can only push people so far. And then they start to take matters into their own hands.
What the American public want is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight.
You know, this is literally call to arms.
The MAGA movement is a threat.
But Michelle says that, when they go low, we go high.
No. With all due respect, if they go low, we don't go high.
When they go low, we kick them.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
And make sure that they stay down. And you know what? Kick them when they're down because they deserve it.
Get up in the face of some Congress people.
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your...
We have to fight this in the streets.
We're going to fight it in the streets. It's time to step out of your comfort zone and step out into the streets.
To our Republican colleagues, if you do not see the light, we will bring the fire. Resist!
You and your little friend off of Twitter. Y'all about to find out.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
He's not going to have a third term. He may not finish this term.
That's the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. Just saying. There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news.
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. Most important thing is my faith in my life.
But if you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.